Simone would be, and appeared confused. "I thought I saw something," she spoke to herself. "Must be getting too old, or maybe it's just bad eyes." She returned to knitting and listening to the report on television. Looney commented, "Looks like she's okay, Simone. Just the way you left everything." "You know what this means, Looney. There is no real time where we're at, so there time remains motionless till we are focused in it." "Ha ha, you're right, Simone. Knowing this feels so good. It means you're on the right track." Looney's tone was cheerful. "Are you going to visit Mother now?" "Heck yeah! Let's go see her." Eagerly, Simone flew off in the direction of his mom. "I do feel great knowing this. Man, I was so worried. This shows me I have nothing to fear. Everything will be all right. I can't wait to see her. I love her so much." Looney followed behind, filled with joy. A few rooms over, Simone's mother, Adeline, was in the kitchen preparing lunch for Leela. She appeared to be a woman in her late 40s, with blonde curly hair to her shoulders. She wore a dress with a floral design. What struck this scene as strange was the fact that Grandpa stood in the kitchen with his arms crossed. Eugene was his grandpa's name, and his brown hair appeared shaggy. His beard was thin, and he dressed in overalls. He appeared transparent and 10 years younger than Simone had remembered. "Grandpa, is that really you?" Simone gasped, and childlessly bounced up to him. "Grandpa, I've missed you so much." He gave Eugene a big old bear hug. "How have you been?" Patting his grandson on the head, Grandpa smiled. "Hey there, boy. I've been well, son. I've been watching over Leela for us all. Say, what's my boy doing all spirit-like? Shouldn't you be all having fun with your life?" Grandpa, it's a long story, how I turned this way. I plan on doing just that when I get back." Simone's grin widened. "It is so good to see you. You look younger than I remember." "Why, thanks, son." Grandpa smirked. Mother had just taken baked buns out of the oven. She was unaware of the spirits who conversed in the room just a few feet away. Her cell phone rang, and she set the sheet of buns on top of the oven and answered her phone. She was so caught up in earthly activity, she could not even catch a glimpse of her son's presence. "Aw, there's Mom. So glad everyone is all right. Wish I could have one of her melt-in-your-mouth buns. She's such a great cook." Simone reflected on his friends in the 4th level and rubbed the back of his head. "Well, Grandpa, I need to leave. Would you please hold down the fort till I return?" Grandpa had a good laugh. "Of course, son. Have yourself a grand old time. That's what life is for." "It sure is," Simone agreed. He just had to hug his grandpa one last time before leaving. He waved as he raised through the house's ceiling and lingered over the house. "Hey, Looney, I have one last thing I want to do while I'm like this. I want to see my dad. I wonder if he ever really loved me." To Simone, this would be the hardest thing he ever did. "I want to know the truth. I mean, he abandoned us. I never saw him again. Did he ever care about what he created?" Tears filled his eyes with the pain of loss. "Does he even know how much he hurt us? I want to know if even an ounce of him cares. I'm going to find out." Determined to find his absent father, Simone summoned up all his will. He locked on to where his father is and transported there, with Looney in hand. Simone found himself on the side of a busy New York City sidewalk. People hurried by, passing like waves in an ocean. Simone could single out one man, his father, Carson, walking with a suitcase in his hand and a cell phone to his ear. Carson had dark brown hair with a streak of gray sliding down one side of his left temple. His face was clean-shaved with a little stubble. He appeared to be about 50 years old and wore a black and white suit. He had black shoes and a trendy brown and red striped tie. "There he is, Looney. I never expected he was like that. I'm going to walk right up to him." Simone stomped near his father, mocking him. "Hey, you! I know you can't hear me, but you're going to soon enough." A sinister look grew over his face as he waltzed beside the man and felt for his essence. His father glanced up at the sky as he said, "I guess I better let you go so you can have lunch now." "There it is, I found it." Raising his fist back, he plummeted it right into his father's heart. "I want to know the truth. How do you feel about your son you left behind?" "Ugh!" His father made a sort of gasp as he dropped the black suitcase. "Are you all right?" a woman's voice asked over the phone. "Maybe. I'll talk to you later." He clenched his chest with his free hand and used his thumb to press end on his phone. The phone call was over. "What's happening to me?" Carson asked himself out loud. An aspect of his spirit stirred with Simone's activation. Simone started to stream his father's spirit in point of view. Concentrating, Simone asked, "Do you remember your son, Simone?" Memories flooded to the surface. Simone, out of the blue, could see through his father's eyes. He saw toddler Simone being lifted out of a crib. The emotion of fathering and protection crept into his mind. In another moment he felt the passion his father felt for his mother. Soon a disconnected feeling boiled. Insecurity struck when another woman's image appeared in his mind. His father's emotion was torn. He was pulled away from his family. A memory of his mother squirting his father ripped into his head. A headache pounded with the feeling of guilt. Soon Simone saw Carson's hands typing on a computer's keyboard. He had found his ex-wife on a social website. Emotion of a rekindling spirit was born. His mother and father had been talking back and forth often. There was a chance they could reunite again. Simone yanked out of the focus, staggered back, and fell to the ground astonished. "That phone call? Is it really? Could they? Oh my goodness, Looney!" Simone said, and started laughing hysterically. "I think I have my answer. I can't believe this is happening." Looney's orb floated nearby. "You seem delighted. I'm so glad you're happy." "Yeah, that is great news. Maybe someday I'll actually get to see him in person. I'm ready to head back to the 4th level now." "All right, Simone, let's go back to the 4th level. It's time to submerge back into life." Simone floated upward over his father. "Hope I didn't hurt him. Do you think he'll be okay?" His father gathered his suitcase and waved a yellow taxicab down. Looney watched with Simone and muttered, "He probably just had a bit of trouble adjusting with your higher energy. He'll be fine, I'm sure." Nodding, Simone rose higher and higher. Looney led the way. He took a hold of Looney's wisp-like tail and joked. "Does it tickle when I do that?" Looney giggled. "Maybe a little." Looney shook it just for fun. Soon the two beheld Simone's partly nude body in the 4th level. It was lying on a ceremonial table in a dimly lit room in the center of a row of pillars. Long iron candle holders set out around the table. Inside the candle holders burned white long candlesticks. The candle holders were in a 6-sided star pattern. Zayak was wiping his eyes with grief next to Isaac. Claris, the pharaoh, had his arms wide open on a pedestal with his garments flowing in the wind.